Hey, what's up guys, and thanks for tuning into the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the newly released but highly anticipated Walmart exclusive Beast Wars vintage figures, the Deluxe Tigatron, as well as, I believe this is a Mega Class Scorponok. But before we get started, if you haven't yet already done so, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another awesome review. Now again, in today's video, we're actually going to just be focusing on Tigatron, and in the next video, we're going to take a look at Scorponok. So I'm just going to bring Scorponok off to the side here. And we're just going to focus, again, like I said, on Tigatron. So here we do see the classic vintage Beast Wars packaging. We get the clear bubble here with the figure. We get Deluxe Tigatron down here with kind of like a mid-transformation scene here. We do see with Water Blaster, Tiger becomes Reconnaissance Robot. And here we do have the background, the scaly kind of red reptilian background, as well as that nice big green creepy looking eye. Beast Wars Transformers. At the back here we see Tigatron on the top, and this is an alien photo. This is actually one of the older, I believe, prototype photos of this figure, and this is actually his alien face, not his actual face that appeared in the show. So there's that. We do see the Kenner logo down here. On the back, we do see this is just his instructions. It's very, very simple because, of course, these figures were released back in the late 90s. So transformation back then was still very, very simple. So if you want, you can actually cut this out and save it. But, of course, I'm just going to save the whole card myself. Here we do see his stats. We got 8 for strength, 3 for intelligence, 8 for speed, as well as 7 for firepower. Secret weapon locations, tail becomes cannon, stomach becomes squirter. Here we do see a little bio for him if you want to read that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the packaging. If you are looking out for this guy, especially if you're living in Canada in the British Columbia area, he is now in stores. So if you are looking out, like I said, for this guy, now would be a good time to go to Walmart and check these guys out. So up here in Canada, he is around, he's on sale right now actually. So I highly suggest you get him right now. So he is only 27 something. He's just slightly less than $28, which is actually really, really nice. That makes him even cheaper than Rat Trap was when it was first released. So I really highly suggest, if you want this guy, go get him now. So without further ado, let's crack open this packaging and let's see what Tigatron has to offer. Alright, and here we have classic vintage Tigatron all out of the packaging. And the first thing that I want to say is I love the white that's on him. It's very, very clean. Contrary to how the original Tigatron was actually. I believe here in North America, the original Tigatron toy that we got actually was more of a off white color. It's more of a creamy yellow color compared to this actual really clear, really bright white that they got over in Japan. So I'm really glad they actually opted to go for this color scheme, similar to how he actually was in the show. So in here we do see nice greenish eyes, greenish blue eyes. We do see the mutant head kind of peeking through their eye. We do have some nice stripes all along the back here. Very, very nice. Very sturdy looking. We do see some robot mode kibble, but of course that's to be expected of a toy that is, how old is it now? At least 25 years old now. So yeah, that is that. Now, quick comparisons here. Here we do have Cheetor, which we do see it is the exact same figure. Because back then, there wasn't really any difference between these guys. They're the exact same figure, just a different paint job, different color, but everything else about them is the exact same. So that is that. And here we do have the Kingdom Voyager Tigatron. I know he has his gun hanging off of his gut here. This is how the instructions mentioned that weapon storage should be, but personally I just believe this is BS. This just looks horrible. So most of the time I don't even display him with the gun. So there we go. That's much better. So yeah, here he is next to the Kingdom Voyager Tigatron, which of course is a much better Tiger mode in my opinion. So there is that. Now I do have the Masterpiece, but I don't have him transform in his Tiger mode, and doing that would just take way too long. So I'm just going to do a robot mode comparison with the Masterpiece. So let's get these guys off to the side. Now, let's take a quick look at articulation. Now, in terms of articulation, he doesn't really have much. That's the front legs can kind of shift forward and back, but if you move him too far forward, we do see a big gap here. So technically, I don't even believe, and everything's fallen off, I don't even believe that that is actually meant to be articulation. So yeah, that is that. The hind legs do move a little bit. They're on a ball joint that go back this far, down this far. They kind of go out a little bit. There is a little bit of knee kind of swivel here, as well as the leg can kind of extend just like that. And other than that, there is no other articulation for this guy because, like I said, he is a vintage figure, and back then they didn't really focus too much on articulation. So yeah, that is the vintage Tigatron. So without further ado, let's get him transformed. So the first step you probably saw, this tail piece comes off. This becomes one of his weapons. So we're going to pop that off. Then we're going to come around to the belly here. We're actually going to take this whole piece and we're going to rip that off as well. That becomes his gut gun, and there's actually no paint on it, which of course is fine. But on Cheetor, we can actually see the rim here is painted purple, purplish blue, which is not on here. That's kind of annoying, but that's okay. So we're going to take these two weapons, we're going to put them off to the side. So now we're going to get started here. What we're going to do is we're going to take this waist piece, rotate this all the way around 180. We're going to extend our legs out. We're going to rotate at the knee here. Same on the other side. And then we're going to extend the feet out just like that. And here we have the lower body all done. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to take this flap piece. It might be a little hard sometimes. We're going to have to get our nail in there. Sometimes I find it easy if we actually crack this upper headpiece, and to do that we actually need to rotate these arms down. So rotate these arms down, we can crack these arm pieces a little bit, just like that. Then we can take this flap, fold it down, and that becomes his waist piece. So there we have that. We're almost done here, believe it or not, right? So now we're going to take these flaps, fold them out, they become his arms, fold them out just like that, and make sure they actually go all the way around. Same on the other side, just like that. We're going to bring this headpiece down. We're going to rotate this around until you can see there's a little tab here that's going to go into this little notch right in there. So that will kind of lock in. And then we're going to take this and fold it up. And that's actually as far as it'll go. I know it does seem like it can actually push it further, but I really wouldn't recommend that because I really tried on Cheetor and I was afraid I was going to break it. And it really didn't seem like it was going to budge. So I definitely would not try that if I were you. So we're almost done here. We're going to take the arms, flip it around, drop them down. Same with the other one, drop them down. And voila, here we have Tigatron in his robot mode. And I mean, I really do like the colors that are on him. We definitely do see more of that light kind of teal turquoise blue color. You can see his face here. Doesn't really look much different from Cheetor, besides from just the paint. He doesn't have his mustache. That's the other figures actually have, such as the Kingdom and the Masterpiece version did. And we do see some nice silver on his arms here, which is very, very nice. We see some spikes on his legs. The tiger stripes just on the inside there. And on the back, nothing here, just some legs hanging. And of course, this isn't really show accurate because show accurate legs would have them being crossed over. But again, this is a vintage toy. What do you expect out of it, right? So yeah, that is that. In terms of articulation, head is on a swivel. It can look up and it can look down. And you can also flip it all the way around just to give him that alien head, which looks kind of cool. It's actually all painted. And I really do dig that. But of course, we all know Tigatron with the actual robot mode head, so we're going to leave it with that. We have a ball joint here at the shoulder, a bicep swivel, a hinge, single hinge at the elbow. We do have a waist articulation, but I actually also believe that it's not meant for articulation because in order to do that, you have to lift this flap up first. And also, it is extremely tight. I guess you can get a little bit of articulation out of it, but I feel like there's like a soft click every time you move back to center. So I don't actually believe that is there for articulation, but actually only there for transformation. So there is that. Legs can kick forward this far, only if you rotate out a little bit because his thighs are too big. So they can kick far forward this much, kick back almost horizontal, kick out to the side. He can do the nice splits. We do have a knee swivel here. And we do have a knee bend, which goes to 90, very nice. And nothing really at the feet, but I guess if you want to move the foot around, you can do that as well. So yeah, that's it for articulation for Tigatron. Let's take a look at his weapons here. So first weapon was just his gut blaster. We're going to take this peg. We're literally going to just plug that into one of his hands, just like that. And here we have Tigatron with his gut blaster gun. And the other one is actually requires a little bit of transformation. So of course, this is his tail. What we're going to do is take the tail part, pop this up and flip it around, and here we do have his rifle. And again, we're going to take this back smaller peg and we're going to plug that into his hand, just like that. And here we have Tigatron with both of his weapons. Very, very cool. So there is that. Now all that's left to do is comparisons. All right, so for comparisons, here we have him next to, this is the Kingdom Voyager Tigatron, which we see is definitely a little more show accurate and of course more complicated and better looking. But again, this is what, almost 25 years difference. So this is how far we've gone in 25 years. And of course, here I have him next to, I promised earlier, the Masterpiece. And of course, the Masterpiece is in a whole league of his own, very, very show accurate, and there's absolutely no comparison. But without this, we would never be having these two here. So there is that. Here we have him next to the vintage Cheetor. And again, like I said, these guys are the exact same figure. You see the face are pretty much the exact same. Basically, everything about these guys is identical. Just all that's different is color. And yeah, even on the back here, we do see everything is about the same. So that is that. And of course, these guys are the same size here, which of course in the show, they were never the same size. Tigatron, for show accuracy, would be something around this height. So yeah, there is that. And here, let's just get the rest of the vintage Beast Wars figures in here. So here we have Optimus Primal. And here we have Rat Trap, if he likes to stand. I think this guy is a perfect example of mold degradation where his joints are just really bad. If you watch the video for this guy, you probably know what I'm talking about. His joints are extremely, extremely loose. I don't know if it's just my copy. I hope it is, but he can barely stand. His joints are horrible, so you really have to lean him forward to get him to stand at all. Or just lean him on something. So please stand. Perfect. So there we go. And of course, here we have Megatron. Whoops, and I'm knocking Tigatron over, the star of the show. Gotta stand up. There we go. So yeah, that is so far all of the Beast Wars vintage figures. Of course, like I said, I have Scorponok. I'm going to be reviewing him next, so we'll actually take a look at how he stacks up with the group. In terms of future releases, we are getting pictures of Cybershark as well as Wolfang, and I'm actually pretty sure they're gonna keep this line going because everyone loves vintage figures, right? Who doesn't love a reissue of figures that we got 25 plus years ago, right? So even though they don't stack up to some of the standards that we have nowadays, they're still really, really nice to have and just an excellent display piece to put on your shelves or next to any, even your more recent figures, just to see how far we've gone with Transformers history. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. And until next time, guys, take care.